Hey guys, welcome to the course. I welcome you all to the full IT Bootcamp and Skills Bootcamp 24 to 2025. And today I'm going to be teaching you the basics of Python and Bash programming language. So first of all, we're going to be starting with the introduction to Bash and Python. So Bash and Python are powerful tools for automating tasks and developing software applications. Bash is a command line interpreter used for interacting with the operating system or the OS like Windows 10 and Linux, etc., while Python is a high level programming language with a wide range of applications. And let's move on to the next slide of the course. So now we will be learning about what is Bash. So Bash is a command line interface, which means that Bash is a command line interpreter that allows users to interact with the operating system using text commands. And we will discuss this in another course, but this is just an introduction to Python and Bash. Then we have shell scripting. Bash scripts are sequences of commands that can be executed together, automating repetitive tasks and creating complex workflows. And we will also be learning how to create automated scripts using Bash, so stay tuned for that. Then system administration. Bash is widely used for system administration tasks such as managing files, processes, and users, and it is a widely used language in Kali Linux, which we'll be discussing in the section of ethical hacking. So yep. Now let's move on to the Bash syntax and commands. So first of all, let's focus on basic commands, and here we have an image of Ubuntu operating system. If you are unfamiliar, that's a type of Linux operating system. So Bash provides a wide range of commands for tasks like navigating directories, creating files, managing processes, and like for navigating directories, we use a command known as cd. We will be learning this in another course. So yep. The second one is command syntax. Commands are typically written in the format command arguments with options and flags modifying the command's behavior. As if you're already familiar with nmap, we use like different flags in nmap like -n, -sn, and so on. Then we have pipelines. Pipelines allow chaining multiple commands together, sending the input of command as input to the next. And after that we have conditional statements, and also in pipelines we use this type of symbol which is used to denote a pipeline right here. Now let's move on to conditional statements. Conditional statements allow Bash scripts to make decisions based on different conditions, like we have some for loop, we have while loop, and we have conditional statements like if, then else, and we will be discussing much more as we move on to the course. Now let's move on to Bash scripting basics. So here we have, first of all, let's discuss the variables. Variables store values that can be referenced and manipulated within a script. So a variable can be anything like x or y or z. It can be anything that stores a random value. After that we have loops. Loops allow executing a block of code multiple times, often based on a condition like if x is greater than 0, then type pass. If x is equal to 0, then type fail. And then we have loops, and if we keep the value of x always as greater than 0, then it would loop it into saying that you have passed. Then after that we have functions. Function and script isolate reusable blocks of code, making scripts more modular and organized. We have different functions in Python and Bash, one of which, if you have learned Python before, you will be familiar with the print function, which is used to print something on the screen. Now let's move on to the next slide. After that, let's discuss what is Python. So Python is a high level language, and it is designed to be easy to learn and read, focusing on code readability and clarity. It's interpreted language, executed line by line, making it easier to debug and iterate on the code. Versatile applications. Python is widely used for various purposes, including web development, data analysis, machine learning, and automation. If you have taken my automation course, then you may be familiar with what is that. And yep, let's move on to the next slide. After that we have the Python syntax and data types. So we have different data types and descriptions over here. Like we have integers, so these are the whole numbers like 10, minus 5, 0. Then we have floats. These include the decimal points as in math, and you will have like 3.14, minus 2.5, etc. Then we have strings. These are like the normal words here, and we can have sequences of characters like hello world. Here hello world, like if you have made the first program in Python, almost every developer makes like a code which is print and then hello world. So here hello world is a string. After that we have booleans, which are logical values, either true or false. It can only have either 0 or a 1, where 1 represents true and 0 represents false. So let's move on to the next. Now we have here Python control and structures. Here we can learn about conditional statements. As I told you before, these are the if-else statements which allow code execution based on conditions. After that we have loops also in Python. For and while loops, as I told you before, they execute blocks of code repeatedly based on certain conditions. Then we have functions like the print command, which are reusable blocks of code that perform specific tasks. After that, let's move on to Python functions and modules. Let's learn about modules. Modules are collections of functions and classes that provide specific functionalities. We can have like different modules which have already been prepared by different developers all over the world in Python. Then we have functions. Functions are the reusable blocks of code that perform specific tasks, making code more organized and efficient, like the print command. After that we have classes. These define the blueprints for creating objects, allowing for data encapsulation and object-oriented programming. Let's move on to the next slide. Now let's compare Bash and Python for different purposes, syntax, data structures, and libraries. So the purpose of Bash is shell scripting, system administration, and it is widely used in Linux. Then we have Python, which is a general purpose programming language used for data analysis, web development. Then we have the syntax. Bash is command based and more concise, but Python has clear structure and indentation. Then we have data structures. Bash has limited data structures, while Python has rich data structures like lists, dictionaries, sets, which you may be already familiar with. Then we have libraries. Bash has a few built-in libraries because it's not as popular as Python itself. And then we have vast ecosystems of libraries for various applications. Now let's move on to the practical use cases, which will be the final topic for today's discussion here. And practical use cases of Python, mainly we have web development, which is a very important use of Python. Python frameworks like Django and Flask are widely used for building web applications. Then we have data analysis. Python libraries like Pandas and NumPy are essential for data manipulation, analysis, and visualization. We can create graphs like these with the help of Python libraries. Then we have machine learning. Python libraries like scikit-learn and TensorFlow are used for building and training machine learning models. So this is also a very important aspect of Python. And yep, with that we have come to the end of today's discussion. And yep, I will see you in the next lecture. Till then, take care and bye bye.